this be the year we really see a massive efficiency jump in battery life when it comes to Pixel flagship devices? Well, let's find out with this extreme battery drain test between the Google Pixel 10 Pro versus the iPhone 16 Pro Max versus the Galaxy S25 on mobile cellular data only with no Wi-Fi option. Let's get into it. No time wasting, let's kick things off with this extreme battery drain test between the Google Pixel 10 Pro, the Apple iPhone 16 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S25. Now I will go through the exact parameters of how I set up each of these devices for this extreme battery drain test, but for now, all you need to know is that we are doing this on mobile cellular data only with no Wi-Fi option. And with our extreme battery drain test, we do shoot it as one continuous video with no skips and no stops, and we only speed it up in the most important areas so you don't have to sit around for hours like I had to. So if you appreciate this detailed, methodical, realistic and accurate approach to our controlled indoor extreme battery drain test, then be sure to like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos on the Lover of Tech channel, especially when it comes to our extreme battery drain test. Road to 100,000 subscribers is still on the table for 2025, and with your help, support and engagement, we can make it happen. Now, we got 9 apps, 9 tasks to get through, an hour each approximately. And the first thing we're going to kick off is using a camera for the rear at 4K 64D's flagship phones. Yes, they're compact, but they're flagship ones. And yeah, we're gonna pretty much see how they manage in terms of heat management and being able to continuously record in 4K for a long time. Now, you're wondering, is that a realistic way to use it? Go watch my iPhone 16 Pro Max Day in a Live video where I actually used my phone to record for more than an hour straight when I was talking at a school. And yeah, modern day, a lot of people want to use it for podcasting to start off with instead of a proper camera. So yeah, this is very important. After an hour, 78% battery, 44.9 degrees Celsius minus 22% battery loss on the Samsung, 85% battery, 41.7 degrees Celsius minus 15% battery loss on the Pixel, and then 85% battery, 40.8 degrees Celsius minus 15% battery loss on the iPhone. So yeah, you can see the battery capacity is below, and the chipsets, they're all 3 nanometers in terms of the fabrication process that we're running now. The Pixel does have the biggest battery, then followed by the Galaxy S25, then the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now, I would say this is really more of a test between the Pixel 10 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro because they are flagships of a compact size compared to their Pro Max or their Ultra variants as such, right? So it's going to be interesting, and we kind of have the S25 as a placeholder, but yeah, it's a beast in itself. Now, next is going to be X Spaces or Twit Spaces. Are you X or Twitter? Let me know in the comment section below. Old school or new school? Now, of course, with Twitter Spaces or X Spaces, this is where you have the chat room service where you join in, speak to your followers, your other content creators about what is happening in the world of tech. In my case, in terms of the topic of, discussion. So it's something I do on a regular basis when I get the chance to. But yeah, getting through an hour of this, what do we have? We do have 68% battery, 32.4 degrees Celsius, minus 10% battery loss on the S25. And then we've got 72% battery, 36.5 degrees Celsius, minus 13% battery loss on the Pixel. And then 74% battery, 32.5 degrees Celsius, minus 11% battery loss on the iPhone. Now, this is interesting. What you'll probably realize is avid watchers of our extreme battery drain test for 2025, the order and the app usage has changed. And I will explain why. Now, next is TikTok. And I always say TikTok is like the wicked Wild West when it comes to consuming and posting content on there. And you never really know how things are. I don't even know the state of TikTok in the US right now. Is it still in the limbo? My US viewers and users of TikTok, let me know in the comment section below, what's the state of TikTok right now? Is it going to be the state where, like in India, is banned, or is it going to be a nice in-between relationship? Well, let's see. As we get through an hour of TikTok, we now have 51% battery, 37.5 degrees Celsius, minus 17% battery loss on the S25, and then 56% battery, 38.7 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss on the Pixel, and then 58% battery, 35.6 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss on the iPhone. Again, you want to see more vertical related content when it comes to tech, follow us on TikTok, Lover of Tech, BA. Next is Instagram Reels, and I have to say Instagram is low-key one of my favorite social media applications right now in terms of just sharing reels and memes and keeping up with friends and family. I may not talk to them on a regular basis, but I kind of know how we are mental state-wise because of the reels and the memes that we send each other. But of course, it's also the best place for me when it comes to behind the scenes and BTS. So if you want to see real stories of what we're getting up to in terms of the behind the scenes process of us making these videos, press trips, and launches, yeah, definitely follow us, loverofTech_BA. After an hour of Instagram Reels, we're on 37% battery, 35.5 degrees Celsius, minus 14% battery loss on the Samsung Galaxy S25. And on the Pixel, we do have 40% battery, 37.7 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss, and then 41% battery, 33.9 degrees Celsius, minus 17% battery loss on the iPhone 16 Pro. Whew. This is interesting, man. Apple's punching above its weight class, especially when it comes to the battery capacity. But next, what do we have? YouTube. An hour of YouTube at 1440p 60 FPS on full screen on mobile cellular data. One of the most taxing when it comes to data usage, and it's a full screen experience. We'll watch one of our definitive camera comparisons, and this is a very, very long, over 1 hour video. So yeah, more than enough time, and of course using YouTube Premium, no ads, it's a seamless watching experience. After an hour of YouTube, we're on 23% battery, 34.4 degrees Celsius, minus 14% battery loss, and then 27% battery, 35.9 degrees Celsius, minus 13% battery loss on the Pixel, and then 22% battery, 35.2 degrees Celsius, minus 19% battery loss on the iPhone. Yeah, the iPhone took a hit with this one, so things are turning around now. The Pixel's ahead. It's showing its class in terms of the G5, the efficiency, and of course the battery capacity. Google did not skimp, so I like that combination here. Next is an hour of YouTube music and one of my favorite rap projects and albums of all time, Kanye West's College Dropout. And boy, oh boy, this album, when I'm getting through the night and doing these battery drain tests, it definitely uplifts me. And when it comes to the track that really did that, is definitely featuring Jay-Z, Never Let You Down. And I put a lot of effort into these videos to make sure that I don't let you down as my audience, that when you watch these, you are getting the best results and the best reviews when it comes to the battery. So if you appreciate it, again, show support and love, subscribe. After an hour, YouTube music, 7% battery, 36.0 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss on the Samsung, 12% battery, 37.1 degrees Celsius, minus 15% battery loss on the Pixel, and then 4% battery, 36.5 degrees Celsius, minus 18% battery loss on the iPhone. Boy, things have turned around. Google, what are you saying? It seems like you are in your final stride. You've got more gas in the tank compared to the others. Now, we've swapped things out. Subway Surface is the new app replacement instead of Instagram live streaming, and I'll explain later. But for now, who's gonna cave in first? And it does look like it's the iPhone 16 Pro. Finishing time, 6 hours, 15 minutes, 10 seconds. Final temperature reading, 36.6 degrees Celsius. In third place is the iPhone 16 Pro. You know what? Considering the battery capacity, it really punched above its weight. But who's going to cave in next? Is it going to be the Pixel or is it going to be the Samsung? And it does look like things are coming around where it is going to be the Samsung that does finish with a time of 6 hours, 20 minutes and 1 second. A final temperature reading of 37.8 degrees Celsius. In second place is the Samsung Galaxy S25. Admirable. Very admirable. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing here when it comes to the battery. But boy, it is the Pixel. It's got 8% left in the tank. How far is it going to go? Is it going to complete a whole hour of Subway Surface before you get to the real intensive gaming, which is the Asphalt Legends or Asphalt Unite or Asphalt 9? They always change the name of that game. But yeah, I like it. We're going to get to that point and see, is it going to make it? How much is it going to left in the tank for the Pixel 10 Pro? And it does. 1% left, 35.2 degrees Celsius, and that is minus 11% battery loss. It made it. But with 1%, surely it's going to die anytime soon, right? Is it going to actually be able to start gaming on Asphalt? I don't know. Let's see. Is it something where it's going to do the bits to really last long on 1%? I don't think it's got that kind of magic. And it really doesn't. As the game was loading, it shut down. Finishing time, 7 hours, 1 minute, 17 seconds. Final temperature reading, 36.1 degrees Celsius. But in first place, the Google Pixel 10 Pro. So in third place is the iPhone 16 Pro with a finishing time of 6 hours, 15 minutes and 10 seconds. Now, considering the battery capacity at 3,582 milliamp hours, powered by the A18 Pro on the 3nm chipset, this is actually really well optimized. It's also the first time I'm doing a battery drain test on the channel with the iPhone 16 Pro, so it's good to see what Apple are working with here. Considerably well for the battery capacity. So yeah, third place does go to the iPhone 16 Pro. Finishing time, 6 hours, 15 minutes and 10 seconds. And in second place is the Samsung Galaxy S25 with a finishing time of 6 hours, 20 minutes and 1 second. Now, this is not the first time I've done an extreme battery drain test on the Galaxy S25. Definitely go watch the previous one. I will have it linked in the description below and the cards above. But for this one, we have changed the app order. That's all down to the fact that Instagram have changed their stream services when it comes to terms of usage. If you have less than 1,000 followers, you cannot go live streaming. So only one of my accounts can do that. So I've had to change it and replace it with Subway Surface. Even still, this is pretty much par for the course for what we're getting. So yeah, it's done decently well. And it looks like after the updates, it's kind of improved overall. So yeah, second place does go to Samsung with the Galaxy S25 at 6 hours, 20 minutes and 1 second. So in first place is the Google Pixel 10 Pro with a finishing time of 7 hours, 1 minute and 17 seconds. Now, I'm glad this was the case because it does have a decently bigger battery compared to the other two. And now on a 3nm chipset process from TSMC, yeah, we are expecting even better gains as it learns your user habits. But yeah, in this controlled environment, it is first place by a good clear amount. That does go to the Pixel 10 Pro. Finishing time, 7 hours, 1 minute and 17 seconds. Now that we've reached the end of this extreme battery drain test, what were the exact parameters that we used to set these phones up? Now, of course, as mentioned, we only did this on mobile cellular data only with no Wi-Fi option. This was done on Vodafone UK's 4G prepaid network, and they were all topped up with the £15 big value bundle, which does give 20 gigabytes of usable data for the month. Next is the display brightness calibration. Now, I have disabled any manner of adaptive and automatic brightness setting on all these phones, and with a clear white background, I have closely tried to calibrate each to around 200 nits for the most consistent look when it comes to brightness to match all our previous extreme battery drain tests. Now, for the settings of the device, starting with the Galaxy S25, for the display, as stated, automatic brightness has been disabled, adaptive 120 Hz is on as well. We've got the screen set into its vivid mode, pretty much everything as standard because you cannot change the resolution. And when you go to the battery saving has been powered off. Anything that will limit the performance, such as limiting the CPU to 70% and also adaptive battery power saving, has all been disabled to give us the most consistent battery run as we go through. And that does also include with the screen dimming at 5%. Now, when we go into the battery health information settings, you can see that there's only been 44 charge cycles on the S25 and it is still on 100% battery health, so it's more than enough and good enough for this extreme battery drain test. Now, of course, when we go into the performance profile, we are doing this in the standard profile, so that's been left as is when it comes to this extreme battery drain test. And of course, checking the software update, we are on the latest August software update for this security. And yeah, that's pretty much how we set up for the Galaxy S25. Now for the Pixel 10 Pro. Now, adaptive brightness has been disabled, and of course, the screen timeout has been increased to the maximum of 30 minutes. 120 Hz display when it comes to the refresh rate has been enabled, and of course, the resolution of the display is just on a normal high mode at 1080p, which is what it comes out of the box, but you can change it to the high resolution at 1280p. Now, when we get to the battery settings, you can pretty much see that this is the newest phone out of the box. Of course, it is based around this. In terms of the battery saver, that has been something that we managed and we disabled as it got there. We've turned off adaptive battery for it as well. So yeah, when it comes to the battery settings, it's going to be very interesting how things would differ if the standard battery saving or extreme battery saver, that might be a video for another time and another day, but in this particular situation we are keeping it normal. So the battery health and capacity is 100%. It has to be. It's the newest phone out of the box, so that's no surprise there. We've disabled any form of adaptive charging. We're not doing charging right now when it comes to this test. So yeah, when it comes to what we've got with the battery, there's no much more going with it when it comes to the charge cycles being very minimal. And of course, when it comes to the software, it is running Android 16 out of the box on the latest August update with the new material design UI. Now for the iPhone 16 Pro. Now the iPhone is pretty much one of the most straightforward to set up for extreme battery drain tests. Looking at the software, it is running iOS 18.6.2, which is the latest as of this video. being live and also these phones being tested. Now, when you go into the accessibility settings on the display, that's where you can toggle off the automatic brightness setting, which is what we've done. And then when we go into the display, we have actually put an auto lock to nothing, which is so convenient. I really love that, and I wish Android phones had that for testing purposes. And of course, when we go into the battery health, you can see that there's only been 7 charge cycles on there. So capacity is at 100% when it comes to the battery health being at normal. So more than good enough to actually use for this extreme battery drain test. And yeah, that's pretty much us set for all 3 devices and how we set them up for this extreme battery drain test. This is also a quick reference of the Geekbench 6 cores across the board, and you can see that single core performance does favor the iPhone 16 Pro, and then the multi-core performance does favor the Galaxy S25. Whereas the Google Pixel 10 Pro, it really isn't anything to match. Now, one thing to be aware is that when you go into the Play Store with these unreleased Google Pixel devices, you cannot actually download Geekbench. You have to use an APK to install, and it doesn't store the scores via history, so you do have to do a fresh benchmark. So I don't know whether it's optimized truly until we see a release version out, but these are the scores that I've got across the board. Now that is it with this extreme battery drain test between the Pixel 10 Pro, the iPhone 16 Pro, and the Galaxy S25. Were you surprised by these results? Were you impressed, or were you expecting more, especially from the Pixel 10 Pro? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoyed this video, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.